Have you ever wondered how the echoes of the past reverberate in our present? How does World War II mirror today's world? In the quiet corners of our minds, these questions linger, prodding us to delve into the annals of history to seek answers. As we look back to the era preceding the Second World War, we find a world grappling with economic instability. The Great Depression had left economies crippled, unemployment was rampant, and nations were teetering on the brink of despair. Today we find ourselves in a similar predicament. The global economy is under strain, with the fallout from the pandemic and other crises threatening to pitch us into a new era of economic uncertainty and hardship. Territorial conflicts, too, were a looming shadow in the pre-war era. Nations driven by expansionist ideologies and nationalistic fervor sought to redraw the map of the world. Today we see a disturbing resurgence of these trends. Territorial disputes simmer across the globe, and nationalist sentiments are rising, threatening to fracture the delicate balance of peace. And then there was the rise of authoritarian regimes. Emboldened by the economic and political chaos, leaders emerged who promised stability but delivered tyranny. Today we see a similar pattern. Authoritarianism is on the rise, with leaders exploiting fear and uncertainty to consolidate power. This is not to say that history is repeating itself verbatim, but the echoes are undeniable. The parallels between then and now serve as a stark reminder of the paths we've tread before, and the disastrous consequences of letting unchecked aggression and divisive ideologies take the reins. So, what can we learn from this? How can we use these echoes of the past to better navigate our present and future? The answers lie in understanding not just the events of history, but their underlying causes and implications. In understanding our past, we may find keys to navigating our present. Let's delve deeper into this journey, exploring the lessons of World War II and how they can help shape our world today. For, as the adage goes, those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Alliances shaped the outcomes of World War II. Do they hold the same sway today? The answer is complex, yet undeniable. In the throes of the Second World War, alliances were not just strategic, they were survival. The Allied powers, a coalition of nations including the United States, the United Kingdom and the Soviet Union, stood united against the Axis powers led by Germany, Italy and Japan. These alliances, born out of necessity, changed the course of history. They tipped the scales of war and brought about a new world order. Fast forward to today, the landscape of international relations is a nuanced tapestry of alliances. Some are echoes from the past, others are born out of present realities. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, is one such alliance. Forged in the aftermath of World War II, it continues to play a pivotal role in maintaining global peace and security. However, alliances today are not just about military might. They span across realms of economy, environment, technology, and more. They are about shared values, common goals, and mutual respect. The European Union, for instance, is an alliance that transcends borders and cultures, binding nations together in a shared pursuit of prosperity and peace. In the Asia-Pacific region, we see alliances like the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, promoting regional stability and economic integration. Across the globe, alliances are shaping our world, just as they did during World War II. But while alliances can foster peace, they can also fan the flames of conflict. Tensions between alliances can escalate into full-blown confrontations, just as they did in the early 20th century. The balance is delicate and the stakes are high. Navigating this intricate network of alliances requires diplomatic finesse, strategic foresight, and a commitment to peace. As we look to the lessons of World War II, we see the potential of alliances to create a better world, but also their power to plunge us into chaos. As in the past, alliances today hold the power to either foster peace or fan the flames of conflict. The choice is ours. Let's hope we choose wisely. Diplomacy played a crucial role in shaping the course of World War II. Does its significance remain unchanged in today's world? In the tumultuous years leading up to the Second World War, diplomacy was a double-edged sword. On one hand, diplomatic negotiations and treaties were employed in an attempt to maintain peace. The Munich Agreement of 1938, for instance, was an effort to prevent war through appeasement, yet it merely delayed the inevitable, underscoring that diplomacy without strength and resolve can lead to disastrous consequences. On the other hand, the lack of diplomacy played a significant role in the escalation of conflict. The diplomatic isolation of the Axis powers contributed to their aggressive behavior, highlighting that diplomacy, or the absence thereof, can profoundly influence the course of events. Fast forward to today, and we find ourselves on a similar diplomatic tightrope. We are witnessing how diplomacy is shaping our world, for better or worse. The Iran nuclear deal, the Paris Climate Accord, and the ongoing negotiations on the Korean Peninsula are testament to the power of diplomacy in resolving complex international issues. Yet we also see how the absence of diplomatic engagement can exacerbate tensions. The escalating territorial disputes in the South China Sea, the unresolved conflict in Ukraine, and the strained relations between major powers are stark reminders that diplomacy is not just a tool of statecraft. It is a necessity for global peace and stability. In the realm of diplomacy, words matter. The choice of language, the tone of discourse, and the willingness to listen can either bridge divides or deepen them. Diplomacy is not just about negotiating agreements, it's about understanding perspectives, building trust, and fostering cooperation. The lessons from World War II are clear. Diplomacy can either pave the way for peace or, if mishandled, can lead to catastrophic conflict. As we navigate this complex and interconnected world, let us remember the power and responsibility that comes with diplomacy. The power of diplomacy should never be underestimated. It holds the potential to either create peace or provoke war. World War II was a testament to the impact of leadership on the fate of nations. Does responsible leadership hold the same importance today? Let's delve into this. The world was once held captive by the decisions of a select few during World War II. Leaders, both virtuous and villainous, played their part in crafting a narrative that would shape the world as we know it. Men like Winston Churchill, whose unyielding spirit echoed throughout Britain, and Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose diplomatic tact held the Allies together. On the opposite end, there were those like Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini, whose reckless ambitions plunged the world into chaos. Their actions, whether for better or worse, were instrumental in the outcome of the war. The leaders of that era were the helmsmen, steering the ship of history through stormy seas. Their decisions, their ideologies, and their willpower all were magnified on the world stage. Now let's draw parallels with today's leaders. We live in an era of rapid change and uncertainty where the decisions of our leaders are more consequential than ever. The stakes are high, and the world is looking to its leaders to navigate through the storms of economic instability, territorial conflicts, and social unrest. Just as in the past, the leaders of today are the torchbearers of our collective destiny. They have the power to ignite wars or forge peace, to build bridges or erect walls, to foster unity or sow discord. Their words can inspire hope or incite fear. Their actions can uplift humanity or drive it to the brink of destruction. The lessons from World War II are clear. Leadership is not just about power, it's about responsibility. It's about making decisions that protect the welfare of the many, not just the few. It's about choosing dialogue over conflict, unity over division, and love over hate. As we stand on the brink of a new era, we must remember the echoes of history and heed their call. The need for responsible leadership is as crucial today as it was during World War II. The aftermath of World War II saw a surge in international cooperation. Is this spirit of cooperation still alive in today's world? In the wake of the Second World War, the world witnessed an unprecedented rise in international cooperation. Nations, battered and bruised, recognized the importance of unity and collective action. This led to the establishment of numerous international bodies and treaties, the most notable being the United Nations. These organizations aimed to foster peace, promote human rights, and facilitate economic development, marking a significant shift in global politics. This era of cooperation ushered in decades of relative peace and prosperity. It facilitated dialogue, prevented conflicts, and encouraged shared growth. The world saw the power of unity as countries stood together, supporting each other in times of crisis and working towards common goals. Fast forward to today, the spirit of international cooperation seems to be wavering. The challenges we face now, climate change, cyber warfare, pandemic threats, are more complex than ever. They cannot be addressed by individual nations acting alone. They require a unified global response. Yet, we see a rise in nationalism, protectionism, and unilateral actions. We see countries retreating into their shells, prioritizing self-interest over collective welfare. This decline in international cooperation is a cause for concern. It threatens to derail our progress and plunge us back into the darkness of conflict and discord. But all is not lost. Amidst the challenges, we also see glimpses of hope. Countries coming together to combat the pandemic, joint efforts to tackle climate change, alliances formed to address cyber threats. These are testament to the enduring spirit of international cooperation. We mustn't let the hurdles deter us. Instead, let them serve as a reminder of what's at stake. Let's remember that our greatest achievements have come when we've worked together, not apart. The future of our world hinges on our ability to cooperate internationally. Let us learn from our past and work together to ensure a peaceful future.